Hello YouTube, welcome to another one of my Duel Links videos. So today I have for you a concept deck. It's not ready in my opinion. I can't get it to work very consistently, so I actually have two variants of it that I'm going to show you today. But the card that it revolves around is this card, Neo-Parshath, the Sky Paladin. And he's basically an upgraded version of Air Knight. But anyway, he has the same effect, which is piercing battle damage if it attacks a monster in defense. But he has an added effect, which is that if you control this card, this field spell, the Sanctuary in the Sky, and your life points are higher than your opponent's monster, that are higher than your opponent's life points, he gains attack equal to the difference. So let's say your opponent has 2,000 life points and you have 4,000 life points. This card gets a 2,000 attack and defense boost, which is pretty good. The obvious choice at the beginning was using Ishizu with Fairy Smile. That didn't work for me. You have to have a lot of fairies to get your life points up, and if you're going up against something that's against a deck that's very aggressive, you're just gonna be losing those life points faster than you're gaining them. And plus I was bricking kinda too much, so I came up with this build using Duel Standby and what has become probably my favorite card as of late, Mecha Phantom Beast, because same thing as always, it defends, it helps you with your tributes since you do run Air Knight, you run Guardian Angel Joan, and then you run two of your Neo-Parshath. I run two Dunamis Dark Witch just because they're fairy, and it's a good 1800, and then one Freya in case I don't draw into my field spell. That way I can boost my fairies a little bit and try to prolong the game that way. Two of the field spell, two Celestial Transformation, which comes in pretty clutch if you only have one token left and you have a fairy, discard, and then your Neo. You can special summon the other fairy and then tribute them both for your Neo. You can also special summon your Air Knight and then just tribute the Air Knight. That's another effect that I didn't go through. You can tribute one Air Knight and then special summon this. So that's the other combo. And also, if your life points are high enough, you can just special summon this. You can just special summon your Sky Paladin. Even though its attack gets half, you're gonna get the boost from the life points, and you can try to finish the game that way. One Jinzen Hu and one Straight Flush, because I noticed that when you're running Duel Standby and your opponent gets that extra card, they set at least two cards. A lot of times they set a full back row just because they have the resources, and you don't really have any other. I couldn't fit any other way of dealing with back row or putting back row of my own to keep up. So I just threw in those two trap cards, and they came in pretty helpful. One Curse of Anubis just to protect, and one Windstorm for the same reason, and then two Aegis of Gaia. So this is the way I'm gaining life points, because again, Fairy Smile, as good as it is just way too slow. There was some times where my opponent would attack into my my Sky Paladin. I would flip over this, get a 3,000 attack and defense boost, and then just win the game that way. So that's the way I made it to where it was a little bit aggressive. And that's the first deck. The other deck that I'm going to show you is using balance. I'm not sure how I feel about this one. It kind of has the same winning condition, which is to go into your Sky Paladin, have your field spell, and then you have your Aegis of Gaia to boost your life points. It is a balanced deck, so you're guaranteed one monster, you're guaranteed one spell, and two traps. And it did okay. I won like half of the duels I tried out with this thing, but I don't know how I feel about it, and that's mainly why I'm uploading this before I feel like the deck is ready. I wanted to get your guys' input, and you know, maybe you can come up with an idea to make the card work better. But let's go ahead and get you into some replays. We'll do the ones with the dual standby deck first, and then we'll finish up with the balanced one. And he's going first. He goes for restart. I have the Shinzen-Hu, and I have my Mecha Phantom Beast, which is good. I would have preferred to go first with this hand, but it's still okay. I flip over the Shinzen-Hu. I think he activates. Yeah, he activates Super Rush, but my card is face down, so it doesn't matter. And so I have one card locked down, and he's Blue Dragon Summoner, can't get over my Mecha Phantom Beast. I draw into Air Knight, so I tribute 2 of the tokens to summon 1 Sky Paladin, and then I use Celestial Transformation on the Air Knight, tribute it to summon the second one, and there's my Sanctuary. But I'm able to do a bunch of damage with the piercing, and I pretty much win the game that way. Even though it's not full lethal, my opponent doesn't draw into anything and he just surrenders. So this one, you didn't get to see the boost from the field spell. In this other 2 duels you will get to. It can also be kind of a trolly deck. I'm trying to figure out a way to make it a little bit trolly, and you'll see what I mean in this next 2 replays.
Duel.
Alright, so I set my Phantom Beast, set my 2 Ages of Gaia. He tries to attack with a 1000 monster, which I don't know why, but I get 2 tokens, I summon my Sky Paladin, he has the enemy controller. And then he activates Mask of Accursed on it, which is not ideal, but not a huge problem. I have 6000 life points waiting there face down. So I'm just going and you know, destroying the monsters, just trying to make the duel progress normally. And I'm actually just waiting for my field spell. And then I finally get the field spell. There it is, Sanctuary in the Sky. I'm just, again, attacking his monsters. He's running a Fiend deck with Magical Merchant, which I thought was pretty cool. So we see the Necrofear. I was hoping he would attack into my Sky Paladin, but he doesn't. He's playing defensively. So I just have to wait. Again, I'm not worried about Mask of the Accursed. And then I see an opening when he summons Dark General Freed. So I set the Sky Paladin that I just drew, and I'm gonna activate character lines just so that it goes a little bit slower, because I don't want you to miss what happens. So he goes for Wonder Balloons, which doesn't do anything to me, and then he tries to attack my face down. I activate my Shinzen-Hu because I knew that was Divine Rat. I mean, the game was over at this point, but I was just being safe. And then I flip over both of my 2 Ages of Gaia, getting my life points all the way up to 8500. So there's a 5100 difference between our life points. All that goes into my defense. My Sky Paladin went up to 7100, and he ended up just suiciding into a huge wall. That's where the troll potential comes, in my opinion. But anyway, this duel was pretty intense. It came down to a top deck. I mean, both of me and my opponent end up in top deck situation, and it made for a really intense duel, in my opinion.
Please work.
we're both running dual standby, so the starting hand is 6, which is pretty insane. But anyway, alright, I'm gonna get the character lines off again. Anyway, he's running the dataless turbo, I guess you could call that, which kind of sucks because it does get rid of my Mecha Phantom Beast before I get any tokens on it. But I have Dynamis, so I'm gonna be able to just get over that Via Dragon. Sets a card. I go for the Celestial because I wanted to start gaining life points with Guardian Angel Joan. It was very risky because I was spending all my resources, and I didn't expect Revival Jam, so I actually thought I had lost right here. But he starts pretty much building a wall, waiting for his second Leviathan Dragon, and I'm just waiting for my combo, which I have my Field Spell and I have my Sky Paladin, but I don't have a way to summon it. I keep drawing into cards that don't really help me. Here he gets 2 Star Boys and a Hammer Shark, which is just enough to get over my Guardian Joan. Luckily I have the Windstorm, but now I don't have any protection for when Leviathan comes out. I figured that was like a mirror wall or something. It ends up being a Windstorm. So I'm gonna lose my Joan and I have no way of summoning my Sky Paladin. But then I top deck Celestial Transformation, so I activate the Field Spell, go for the special summon. He's already at 5,000, even though his attack was cut in half. And then after I activate my 2 Ages of Gaia, he goes all the way up to 11,000, and I just one-shot him by attacking into a Starboy. So that was a pretty clutch Celestial Transformation, and you know, he did quite a bit of damage on me, but my life points were so high at that point from Guardian Angel Joan that didn't matter. So let me switch over the deck real quick. There we go. Alright, so this is the balanced variant. And again, I didn't play a ton of duels with this. I played like, I want to say 8. And I won like half. I might have won 5. Can't really remember. It was really late at night. But I don't know. I just don't know how I feel about it. You're set up turn 1, but then you know you have to wait until you draw the rest of your combo pieces. So I don't know. I really can't wait to read you guys' comments and see what ideas you guys have for me to modify this decks and hopefully get something that can work consistently. Here he's running Zombie Red Eyes. I have 2 golden apples, so I'm gonna be able to summon my Sky Paladin, but I decided to play it safe because of the back row, so I just set it. I actually didn't expect my opponent to attack, but he does, so I just flip over my 2 Ages of Gaia, putting a ton of difference between our life points, and again he runs into a wall and just he loses the game. Pretty trolly. I feel like a lot of people don't know or haven't seen you know, the Sky Paladin play much, so they probably don't, you know, they're definitely not expecting it. I did have to use 2 of my SR tickets to get it, and I'm probably going to use the 3rd one on Red Eyes Insight. So I was glad that they didn't add a ton of new SR cards that that I really wanted, because that way I'm going to be able to get my 3rd Red Eyes Insight.
Duel.
Even though I rarely use Red Eyes for anything other than farming. But anyway, we're going up against the Bandit Keith 30 card burn deck. Pretty random, as random as my deck, to be fair. So I just set my Guardian Angel Joan because again I don't want to attack into back row. I'm pretty scared of it. But he's just going into defense, so I start attacking. He's gaining life points, which was kind of funny because I was like, okay, let's see who can get their life points the highest. He had the Jaws, no Dimension Gate, which was good. I was scared of that. and then he just has cards to thin out his deck. Get that spicy 900 life points. Goblin Chief. So here my Air Knight, it's not useless, but you know, it's not as effective because my life points are not higher yet. But we eventually get there. Mask of the Accursed on Guardian Angel Joan, which is fine because I'm just going to tribute for my Sky Paladin. And he gives himself a 2200 attack boost. I then go for my Aegis. 11, was that 1100? No, that was 1100 after, so I think it was like 7000 attack with piercing. Too much for Big Shield Gardener, and there's the game. So again, this is just more of a concept video. I really want to know how you guys think I should run this deck. I really like the card. I like the artwork. I like the effect. It's just, you know, it requires a lot of cards to get set up. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, like, comment, and subscribe if you want. And until next time.